like to call the Maricopa City Council regular meeting to order on Monday, March 2nd, 2015. At this time, if you'd all rise, we'd like to have Reverend Arnold Jackson from Mount Moriah Church give us the invocation, after which we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilwoman Smith.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. May we all bow our heads. Gracious God, we come to you this evening praising and glorifying you. We would ask that you would be in the deliberation of the meeting tonight. You would be with each city council member and be within their hearts as they work for the good of this city. Additionally, Lord, as they prepare to travel tomorrow to Washington, D.C., we'd ask for traveling grace and mercy for them. We'd ask that you would be with each person from the community that have made their way out this evening. Be with us all, and we'll forever praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Reverend Jackson. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chapados? Here. Councilmember Kimball? Here. Councilmember Manfredi? Here. Councilmember Smith? Here. Councilmember Wade?
Here.
Vice Mayor Brown?
Here.
Mayor Price?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you very much. Again, we appreciate you being here. It's a little unusual for us to have a council meeting on a Monday night. I know we usually have them on the first and third Tuesdays of the month, but as Reverend Jackson said, we have a commitment tomorrow in Washington, D.C. that we have to be gone for. That will take us to the report from the mayor. I would just simply say ditto to many of the things that were said from here earlier. The gala, the Dr. Seuss days, the JPAC, the CAG meetings, all of these great things, and I appreciate all these council members for all the things that they do. I too try and attend them all because it's just fun that way. So we have a good time. But at the end of the day, I wanted to give a big shout out to, again, the Lady Rams. I'm going to raise my number one here. So congratulations to them. I know that I think that's the first state championship that Maricopa either has ever won or certainly won in basketball. So that's pretty exciting. So again, congratulations to them. I wanted to give you a quick update. Paul, I don't remember the House bill. What is the number? House Bill 2254? 2254. Yeah, it's the one trying to take our rental sales tax.
House Bill 2254 is a residential rental income tax bill, or
That's
tax
right.
bill.
So that would have significant impact. I've talked about it before. I just wanted to give you an update at the moment. Due to the fact that we've been reaching out to our legislators, it has had a really good effect. When we went to Committee of the Whole, we shortened that, called COW. When I went to COW the other day, it was held up in committee there and did not advance. Just because it didn't advance doesn't mean it's dead. It could always appear as a striker. So until the gavel rings on the last day, then we'll know it's truly dead. But just wanted to give you an update that at the moment it does not seem to have the votes, and so it has been held up, but anything could change. So we can encourage you to continue out there talking to your legislators and see if they can kill that. I just wanted to also announce that I was able to visit Santa Rosa Elementary this morning and do some reading for them as well. That was a wonderful opportunity to read to our youth. And then I also wanted to tell you that I had the opportunity to visit the thriving metropolis of Morenci, Arizona this past week. I was out there for an ADOT meeting. Quite the welcome. I mean, they're happy to see us all. I'm not sure they'd seen that many folks from outside the Greenlee County area in a while, but I think I've been on this earth for 40 years, and that was my first time to Morenci, Arizona, and the next one might be when I'm 80, Marvin, so I'll let you know how it goes.
Stay with my son.
But it was a wonderful opportunity. It is a thriving mining town. I did not know it's the largest copper mine in all of North America. The amount of work that they do there, the operations, the science they have going is just fascinating. A tire on one of those big dump trucks that's 3 stories tall costs $50,000. There's 6 of them per dump truck. They run those trucks 24/7. I think there's 136 trucks in the fleet. They have loaders that can load those trucks in 3 scoops. They will take an entire dump truck load to get a handful, fist size, that equates to 8 pounds of copper. out of that entire dump truck. It's just amazing what they do out there, and they can tell you what is in each scoop before it's even mined based on the computer demographics of how things have been all done by coring samples, et cetera. So quite the scientific operation, but again, the reason I was out there was for the transportation side of things, and we had a very successful meeting. FHWA came up to us afterwards, talked about the meeting that we will be having in DC with them here coming up. And then finally, I think there was another thing that was very interesting is that our neighbors, Ak-Chin, participated in not a new, but a seemingly rebirth of a meeting that used to take place at ADOT, where the Native American communities get together with ADOT and FHWA and talk about it. And our own Chairman Manuel, our friend, got up and spoke on behalf of Ak-Chin and talked about how the future of building transportation corridors is by working together. And so ADOT was extremely impressed and also very thankful for his words as it pertained certainly to the city of Maricopa, to the region, but especially as it means to working with other Native American communities. So from our perspective, we certainly give thanks to Chairman Manuel and to the Ak-Chin Indian community for their partnership with us on the 347 overpass. So we're thankful for that. At this time, that is I have a few other things here. Just wanted to let you know that the City of Maricopa residents are invited to attend an open house. This meeting is sponsored by the city's planning division to discuss the proposed overlay districts. It's a mixed-use heritage and transportation corridor overlay district. This meeting will be held at the Copa Center on March 12th at 6 p.m. The Copa Center is located at 44585 West Honeycutt Road. And again, that is on March 12th at 6 p.m. So we look forward to seeing you there. And then also, the City of Maricopa, in conjunction with Councilmember Bridger Kimball, also with the Maricopa American Legion, Post 133, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 12043, and the Blue Star Moms of Maricopa present a Maricopa Stand Up for Veterans Day. This is going to be an amazing opportunity in which if you know a veteran, or if you have a veteran in your family or a neighbor that you've seen out that you've been able to talk with, we would encourage them to attend this meeting. It will be held on March 19th at 6 to 9 p.m. at Copper Sky. So again, March 19th this year, 6 to 9 p.m., Copper Sky. And this will be an awesome opportunity to determine if you are VA eligible, to determine what kind of health and financial benefits that you have, or are staying and waiting if you don't know about them. But it's going to provide, again, veterans access to the resources and tools they need to succeed for themselves and for their family. And so again, the idea is to try and bring all of these resources under one roof and just try and get it all knocked out. So again, bring your ID and your DD-214 and meet with one of the on-site Veteran Administration representatives to find out about your benefits, your VA card, and to get your questions answered. If you have questions, you can certainly call Sarah Delgadillo at 520-316-6827 or Norma Wyatt at 520-431-0195. So again, look for these flyers in the hall, and we'd love to see you there. That concludes the report from the mayor at this time, and then I'll turn it over to the report from the city manager.
No item to report on this week, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. That takes us to item 6, to call the public. If there's anyone that'd like to address the city council, you may do so. Please step to the mic. We have a timer for you. Allot you about 3 minutes, and we don't typically answer back, but if there's something we can help you with, we'd love to make sure that we talk with staff and get an answer for you.
My name is Brandon Irish, and I convinced my investors to buy a piece of property out here about a year and a half ago, and we got spent $50,000 on getting the 3-phase electric put in, and the entire experience with District 3 Electric has been nothing less than absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean, there's nobody there that can seem to get their act together. I've been grossly overcharged, and it's just my opinion that this is an absolute cancer in this town, because if I'd have known that I'd be dealing with all of this, I would have we'd never moved here. So, and it's funny that, we moved out here for a mining operation. I've actually found a nice little claim, so you kind of have an idea of what I have to deal with as far as electrical equipment is concerned.
Very much so.
We've run nothing, and my bills have been just absolutely absurd, and I can't get a straight answer on how they arrive at this number. So anyhow, I would like to just throw into the ring if maybe this city ought to consider going with a co-op. I'm another town that we have a little mining operation in Chalice, Idaho. I don't know if you've heard of it. They've got a little co-op there, and I mean, everybody pays 5 cents a kilowatt, and at the end of the year, they get a refund check from the power company for any, profit that was made. So with probably 10 times more land that they have to service with a fraction of the population, so I just don't understand why the city would want to just let all of that money go as far as, for development, and then as far as for, snowbirds coming to move here, having to plug in a bunch of medical equipment, that's probably not having ridiculous power bills and the stress of having to call up every month and waste 2 or 3 hours to, discuss why my bill's crazy is, probably something that's going to deter a lot of growth in this town. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to say was that, I'd like for this city to consider going with a co-op, and the city of Chalice, Idaho would be more than happy to help us in any way they could. So, thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Also, I would refer you over to Paul Jepson. He's staff right there. He can certainly help address some of those concerns. And just for your FYI, also ED3 is has a board of directors, and as such, they have open meetings. You could attend one of those meetings as well. I would certainly encourage you to do that. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Wade.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I come before you to invite you and the community to the Relay for Life Maricopa, which will be held April 25th, 2015 at Copper Sky from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Myself, Councilmember Smith, are part of the organizing team that is working towards that Relay for Life, and so we just want to make sure. Sorry, I didn't bring any gifts or anything for everybody, kind of like my co-worker there, but I want to make sure that everyone's aware. We've been working very diligently, as Councilmember Chabados mentioned. Saturday we had a really nice rummage sale. Lots of folks out there. Hopefully we made some pretty good money. It was cold as heck, but it was a lot of fun. I personally am working with the Survivor Dinner, which is going to be April 10th at Ak-Chin, starting at 6 o'clock. So that's April 10th at Ak-Chin, 6 o'clock. If you are a survivor or a caregiver or caretaker, or caregiver for someone who has cancer, then we encourage you to attend. We encourage you to encourage others to come. It's free to survivors as well as caregivers. And if that is the case, if you want to find out more information, you can reach out to me. There's flyers in the foyer as well. But if folks want to reach out to me as well, I'll take names and email addresses, phone numbers, and include them in. I think we're going to do very well. So if there's anyone out there who does know of a survivor that has not already registered with us, I would suggest that they get in contact with us quick, because I think the spaces are filling up pretty fast. And if you've ever attended one of those dinners, you know how special they really are. So thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and hope to see you on the 10th and the 25th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to approach the council at this time? Call the public. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close that and move on to the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve items 7.1 and 7.2, please? Second. Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Yes.
The regular session meeting minutes for February 17th, I would just like to correct the date for Relay for Life from the 15th to the 25th.
So date correction on 15th, from the 15th to the 25th.
Right, correct.
Okay. Can I, will you accept as a motion as amended? Yes? And second as amended? Yes. Okay. Any further discussion? Thank you, Councilwoman Smith. Appreciate it. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We have no items on the public hearings. That'll take us to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve consent, please? So moved. Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then item 10, which is our regular agenda item, the mayor and city council shall discuss and possibly take action to provide consent to submit a grant application to the Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program, staffing for adequate fire and emergency response, or SAFER, in an amount to not exceed $400,000 to hire 2 firefighters and related equipment. This is for consent to submit, authorizes the city manager to sign all necessary documents for the application process. This is for discussion and action.
One correction on this item is that it should be $330,000. $330,000 maximum. I also asked that this item be placed on the regular agenda so that I could note with you that we're going through a very difficult budget process. And so while I'm recommending approval of applying for the grant, that doesn't indicate that I will be recommending the positions. It really depends upon what the budget looks like. And so I think we've had this discussion with Fire Chief Leffler, so he is understanding and accepting of that condition. With that, I would recommend approval.
Questions, council? I had a question as it pertains to this. I mean, I apologize, but the $330,000, that is our match portion, is that correct? Or is that the total amount? There's no match.
Mayor, members of the council, it is funded for 2 years completely.
I see.
And at the end of 2 years, then we accept the ongoing expenses.
I see. Okay. Okay. That was the only question I had as it pertained to it. I just was trying to figure that out in my head as I think into the budget process, et cetera. I know the need, and it is great, so I understand that. Any other questions, council? Yes, Councilman Smith.
The,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
That's right, go ahead.
One additional item is the ongoing expenses would be about $30,000 less. There is equipment and such that is added on to the salaries and benefits.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, and you had a question?
Right. No, I was just going to comment on the fact that the information did provide that there was no match. And the other part that I thought was really interesting is that considering what City Manager Rose indicated is that there's no obligation at the end either to continue that employment, although you would like to think that you would be able to do that, but it does give you 2 years to have the financial situation improve and
Correct.
make a decision at that point. So I like what City Manager Rose indicated in terms of looking at it for today's budget, but also the fact that you're not obligated at the end of that 2 years if you chose to go forward.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions on this? Yes.
I'd just like to echo what Councilman Smith had said, and then I'm assuming that there's some sort of a deadline to apply for this grant, so getting it in now, I would totally be in support of, seeing as what the city manager had said. He doesn't need to recommend the positions down the road, but we need to apply for it to be even considered for it. Therefore, I would make a motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Kimball, that deadline is Friday.
Friday. Right up against it. Perfect. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And that is the extent of our meeting tonight. Thank you very much for being with us. Can I have a motion to approve, adjourn, please? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We'll see you in 2 weeks.